G'day everybody, it's Master Yoda here and hope you guys are all doing well. Title of this video is my 1992 cruise with my Chad friend. Look, I know a lot of you guys know the story, so if you do, tune out now because it's, I don't want to annoy you again with it. This is for the benefit of the people who don't know the story. So look, if anyone puts any smart ass comments, say, oh yeah, Master Yoda, don't talk about your Chad friend again, I'm going to delete them. Okay, because look, you've been warned. If you know the story, tune out now. This is for the benefit of the people who don't know the story. Okay, so it goes like this. I met my Chad friend back in 1990 when we were both colleagues or employees at a life insurance and superannuation company. Sorry, for those of you outside of Australia, superannuation is our pension fund. I think in the US you call it your 401k fund. Yeah, so we both work for a life insurance and superannuation company in the admin area. Look, obviously, I'm going to protect my Chad friend's identity, so we'll give him an alias, a false name, and we'll call him Tim. Tim is how do I describe him? 6 foot tall, full head of hair. He's an Australian of Irish Catholic heritage. If you were to compare him to a celebrity or someone famous, he looks a bit of a cross between, say, the Irish actor Colin Farrell and the American punk rock singer Henry Rollins. I'd say more Henry Rollins. Yeah, a 6 foot version of that. Very athletic guy, 6 foot, powerfully built. He was in a bodybuilding. I believe he could bench press 180 kilos. Or for those of you in the United States, it's about 400 pounds. Very strong, powerful man. He was a good all-round athlete, good rugby league player. He's very good athletics. He was, I think he did the 100. He ran for the state in 100 metres. Yeah, and he could also defend himself. He was a sixth Dan in Taekwondo, and he got so good he became an instructor. So you wouldn't want to mess with this guy. He could really hurt you. He knew how to defend himself. But I could tell this guy was popular with the ladies. How the company that we work for, we used to have a thing called the happy hour where they'd serve some drinks and light finger food. And I think we had it, I think it was every 2 weeks or once a month. And he'd always be surrounded by women. I believe he did have a couple of hookups with some of the ladies there. One lady in particular, very attractive. Oh, I'd rate her a solid 9 out of 10. A little bit on the chubby side, but she had a beautiful face. Yeah, so he ended up having a few affairs. So in October of 1991, we paid $2,000 each to share a 4-bedroom cabin to go on a cruise around the South Pacific, and it was to set sail in March of 1992. The name of the cruise ship was called the Fair Star. So come March 1992, yeah, we went on the cruise, and we first got on the ship. After we went through customs and immigration, we met these two young ladies. They're a little bit like myself. They were born in Australia of Italian parents, and they're from Melbourne. Obviously, both myself and Tim, we greeted these young ladies. They took one look at me, turned their backs to me, and turned all our attention to my Chad friend Tim. Yeah, so yeah, my first rejection of the cruise. That very first night of the cruise, we were having our dinner in the main dining hall of the ship. And about 10 metres to our left or so, I caught this at the corner of my left eye. There was this hot-looking Stacey staring at her, and she was with her female friends, and they're all Stacey's as well. But yeah, as I said before, in the corner of my left eye, I could see this Stacey staring at Tim. Now she obviously wasn't looking at my sub-3 subhuman looking head. And as I said before, that the table was about 10 metres or so to our left. I mean, I'm sure Tim picked up on that, and I said to myself, within 24 hours, Tim's going to hook up with that woman, and lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. He ended up sleeping with her. I believe she was from Adelaide in South Australia. Yeah, the whole cruise. I mean, yeah, he cleaned up. I think, in my estimation, I think he would have slept with maybe between 15 to 20 girls. Probably had some threesomes. It wouldn't surprise me, because women will share a high value guy. They will, and I've seen it happen countless times. And other members of the BP and Inkwell community, they've told me they've known or been acquainted with Chads, and they've seen exactly the same thing. Multiple groups of women chasing that top 5 to 10% of guys in terms of looks. Yeah. Yeah, so my chat friend, he absolutely cleaned up. Me, no, God, I would have approached about, over the course of the cruise, when it went for 14 days or 2 weeks, I probably would have approached about maybe 14, 15 girls and got rejected every single time. Every single time. Some of the women were nice about it, some weren't so nice about it, but I can honestly say the ones that, all the women that rejected me, none of them cussed at me or assaulted me or threatened me with assault, because if I detect any negative or bad body language, I politely thank the woman, said one for a time, and just leave her alone. At the table where we had dinner, we were seated next to two quite attractive ladies. They were from the south coast of New South Wales. Sorry, New South Wales is where I'm from. It's on the east coast of Australia, and they were nice to me. I mean, they weren't attracted to me, but they were always polite and courteous to me, and I had some nice conversations with them. Yeah. So, yeah, so my chat friend, he cleaned up, and throughout the whole cruise, whenever I'd see him, and look, one thing I want to make perfectly clear: in the 2 weeks that we were on that cruise, he did his thing, I did my thing. We were not in each other's pockets, and we did not get in each other's way. Absolutely not. He did his thing, I did mine. Yeah, and he cleaned up, and good luck to the guy. I wish I had his looks, but look, he won the genetics lottery, and if I was in his position, I would do exactly the same thing. I mean, he's just cashing in on the ticket, that he won in the genetics lottery. Yeah, so oh yeah, the way we were treated. I mean, he was treated like a rock star or like royalty. I was treated like a cockroach, just because of my looks. Yeah. What was funny with the ship was, unlike a normal nightclub or pub or bar, where it's a sausage fest, during a rough head count, women actually outnumbered men by a ratio of 2 to 1. And initially, I got my hopes up. I said, "Oh shit, I might have a chance here." But this is where I was exposed to female hypergamy in full force. Because although women outnumbered men, all the women, even the average to not so to below average looking women, they're all going for the chads, all going for the top guys. It was funny, on the back of the ship, which I think they called the stern. On the stern, they had a disco nightclub sort of thing, and when I was walking around the ship at night, I'd go to the back of the ship, the stern, and all us ugly-looking inkwells like us would be standing there like idiots with our drinks and dicks in our hands, and all the chads would be surrounded by multiple groups of women. But it is what it is. Yeah, probably my worst rejection I copped was about halfway through the cruise. There was myself, my chat friend Tim, and we met these two other guys. One guy was a farmer from Western Australia, and another guy was a young guy from New Zealand. Um, and we met these three ladies from New Zealand. They're quite attractive. These three ladies from New Zealand, they all took one look at me. No, forget about it. Turned their backs on me, gave me a dirty look as well. It was nice. I mean, all I did was just said hello. I just greeted, I just, and they turned their backs on me. I got the hint that I was the unwanted one. So I politely excused myself and said to the guys, "Yeah, you have a good night, guys." And as I was walking, I quickly turned around to have a look back, and the three guys were making out with the three girls. Yeah. To rub further salt into the wound, the very following morning there was a knock at the door of the cabin that myself and my Chad friend were sharing, and he was in the toilet. I went to go and answer the door, and those three girls from New Zealand who rejected me the night before were asking for my Tim friend, and they said, "Oh, is Tim here?" I said, "No worries, I'll just get him for you." Yeah. And throughout the cruise, whenever I'd see Tim in another part of the ship, he was always surrounded by 3 or 4 women, pretty much every day. Women will share a high value guy. They will. Oh, you bet. Yeah, yeah. With me, yeah, I got absolutely nothing. But yeah, that's life. That's life. Before the cruise, myself and Tim, we made an agreement. Said to Tim, look, in the event that you pick up a woman, if you and you take her back to our cabin, if you just please put a do not disturb sign on the door so I don't embarrass you and any young lady or ladies you might happen to be with. He said, oh, maybe I might not pick anybody up. I said, Tim, you will, mate. Trust me, you will. Um, for the most part, it wasn't an issue because Tim would be bonking the girls in their cabins. But on the very last day of the cruise, as the ship was sailing back towards Sydney, we had a bit of a misunderstanding. But what had happened was, um, it was about 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't get much sleep from the night before because I was walking around the ship, and yeah, I was dog tired. So I went to the toilet, you know, and then I went to go wash and dry my hands, and there was a knock at the door of the toilet, and it was Tim, and Tim said, "Master, are you in there?" I said, "Yeah, I'm in here." She said, "Don't come out. I'm with somebody." I said to myself, "Oh shit, he's probably naked and he's probably making love to a woman. Well, I better not, you know, come out and embarrass him and invade his privacy." So I said to myself, "Look, I'll stay in the cabin. I'll just lie down on the shower floor and have a sleep." So that's what I did. So 5 minutes later, there's another knock at the door. Tim said, "No, are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'm okay." He said, "Don't come out. You're with someone." But this is where the misunderstanding occurred. It's a bit hard to hear someone clearly through a 2-inch thick steel door. So I came out and look, they still had their clothes on. Look, it was rather obvious what it was obvious what they were going to do. So I quickly excused myself, said, "Oh, look, guys, I need to go for a walk. You guys have fun. See you later." And I left the room instantly. Look, I'm not a party pooper. You know, I don't spoil other people's fun. And yeah, so yeah, that's basically what happened. Look, it was all about looks. I mean, anyone tells you that looks don't matter. I'm sorry, they're certifiably insane. No, your looks as a man are critically important to your dating success or failure. They are. I'm sorry, they are. Because when a woman sees a guy, she within milliseconds she pretty much makes up her mind whether she's going to sleep with that guy or not. And if she wants to sleep with him, she'll indicate to him via her body language that she's interested in him. You know, she'll be looking towards him, smiling at him, and giving him, the green light or the choosing signals for that man to approach. Like, for example, the first girl that he slept with, the Stacey girl, the very beautiful Stacey girl. You know, as I said before, we're having a dinner in the main dining hall of the ship. About 10 metres or so to our left, that one Stacey was staring at my chat friend for the best part of 10 to maybe 15 minutes. I mean, it was obvious she was attracted to him, and obviously my chat friend saw that. And yeah, yeah. I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, yeah, it was my most brutal BP experience. Yeah, but I mean, and look, I'm not saying this is a cope. If I could have my time over again, I still would have went on the cruise. Look, the cruise side of it, I enjoyed. We went to Vanuatu, Fiji, an island called Dravuni Island, which is part of Fiji, an island off Fiji, and the last port of call we went to was New Caledonia, and it went for 14 days. So that sort of I enjoyed. And look, the weather was great. I didn't get seasick. Um, the food was great. The entertainment was good. I've visited some lovely places. You know, the people from Vanuatu, Fiji, New Caledonia are lovely. Particularly the Fijians and people from Vanuatu, they were lovely. So friendly, so nice, lovely people. Uh, yes, that part of it. The beaches were great. Oh my God, I've never swam in such beautiful beaches. It was like walking into your bathtub. Like normally when you go to the beach, even if it's a hot day, when you go in the water's initially cold. Obviously, you get used to it. But but in the tropical islands like Fiji and Vanuatu, like you walk into the water and it was warm straight away. Yeah. So that's what I've enjoyed. Visited some nice countries, met some lovely people, particularly the Fijians, the people from Vanuatu. People from New Caledonia. I suppose I didn't meet too many of them, but especially the people from Fiji and Vanuatu, they're really nice people, lovely people. Lovely places. So yeah, that side of it was good. And that's sort of the woman's side of it. Not so good. That was a complete disaster. But sometimes you got to learn things the hard way. And it's easy to be wise after the event. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. It is about looks. I know it's a very black and white way at looking at male-female intimate relationships, but when you see the way women behave, it is about your looks. Yeah. Uh, but no, I enjoyed the cruise. What are my takeouts from the cruise? Look, if you ever intend to go out in the town looking for the ladies, whatever you do, make sure that the friends that you go with, they're on the same looks level as you. Because if you go out with a Chad or a Chad light or a guy who's better looking than you, believe me, what's going to happen is all the women are going to pour their attention to them, and you're going to get ignored. I'll back that any day of the week. Any day of the week. Yeah, I think the PUA scammers have this thing called the wingman theory, where if you go out in the town looking for the ladies with a guy that's a natural with women, usually a Chad or Tyrone, some of those women that are drawn to him will come over to you. No, it doesn't work that way, guys. It does not work that way. What will happen is if you go out in the town looking for the ladies with a friend that's better looking than what you are, they're going to put all their attention on him. 100%. As I said before, I'll back that any day of the week. Yes, as I said before, the name of the ship was called the Fair Star, and one of its nickname was Fair Star, the F ship. And when I use the word F, it rhymes with duck and starts with F, so I think you can work out what that means. Look, that's not entirely true. I'd say it's Fair Star, the F ship for Chads and the women that chose them, because we all know when it comes to sex and relationships, women are the choosers. They play judge, jury, and execution on your sexual market value. If you don't pass that looks test with a woman, come over. It doesn't matter how good your social skills are, your conversational skills, or how charismatic you are. Don't pass the looks test. That's it. You're going to get rejected. Yeah, and look, when I first made this video on my previous channel, someone left a comment on there. He said, "Oh, you're the first guy that said they didn't get laid on that cruise," and I found that comment a little bit offensive to be truth. He's sort of blaming me. Look, there's not much I can do when a woman rejects me. When a woman says no, she means no. Okay, you're not going to force yourself upon a woman. You never do something like that. No way. There are laws against that, and they carry a very long custodial prison sentence, apart from a horrible thing to do to a woman. So what can I do? All I do is, introduce myself to these ladies. I approach them in a very passive, non-sleazy manner, and they reject me. Okay, no worries. Thanks for your time, lady. Well, see you later. I did my best, but I mean, what can you do about hypergamy? Because a lot of the women I approached, they weren't that. I wouldn't call them that attractive. They're probably moderately attractive, but even the average-looking women were going for the chads. I mean, I approached a few average-looking women. They just gave me a dirty look, and basically just with their body language, they just basically told me to get lost. What do you do? It's just life. Whereas my Chad friend was treated like royalty just because of his looks. But look, good luck to the guy. I mean, he won the ticket in the genetics lottery. I didn't, and he's just cashing on his ticket. If you're in his position, you do exactly the same thing. So would I. Yeah, and also too, someone when I originally made this video on my previous channel, someone said that my TED friend was using me to subsidise his fuckfest. Sorry, pardon my language. Look, maybe he did, but look, at the end of the cruise, he thanked me for coming with him. Coming on the cruise with him, and also too, he did try to help me with girls. With the very first woman that he hooked up with, the Stacey that was staring at him for 15 minutes, she was from Adelaide in South Australia, and she was with her Stacey friends. And I remember one night of the cruise, I was walking around the ship like an idiot. And I went to the back of the ship, the stern. I was just there minding my own business. And my chat friend could see that I was by myself, and he invited me over to introduce me to the Stacys that he was with. I met some of these Stacys, and look, they rejected me. They gave me a little bit of their time. I had a little bit of a chat with them, and they rejected me, but they were very nice about it. They were very polite and very nice about it. So, in fairness to my chat friend, he did try to introduce me to some women, but they're going to be interested in him, not me. So once again, the wingman theory that the PUA scammers put out is bullshit. It doesn't work. Yeah, so that was my my cruise story. Look, it is what it is. It taught me a very brutal lesson on the importance of looks. Anyone who says looks don't matter is nuts. I'm sorry, you're nuts. I know the PUAs try to downplay the importance of looks, but of course they want to sell you courses and stuff. And like the old saying goes, you can't make money out of telling the truth. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for listening to my video, my story. I'm sorry if it annoyed some people, but I made this video made for the benefit of the people who haven't heard it before. I mean, if you know the story, once again, tune out. Okay, guys, thank you very much for listening to my video. If you'd like to leave your likes, comment, and subscribe, and I'll speak to you soon. You guys have a great day. Bye for now.